Hello everyone and welcome back to the comments section. My name is Brian if you happen to be new to my channel, and what these videos are is a deep dive in the different themes that you guys have shared with me, your hopes, your concerns, especially as it relates to Light No Fire. This video is going to be focusing in on that. The title of the video is Light No Fire and the problem of No Man's Sky, my response, because I've seen a lot of negative that is being put on Light No Fire. I've seen a lot of negative that's been put on No Man's Sky, and from my position, I cannot understand it. I can't fathom it, but I would like to highlight some pros, some cons, some different opinions other than my own, because that's what the comment section is about. Guys, if you ever want to have your comment featured in comment section videos, all you got to do is drop a comment. And that's pretty much the only criteria. Now, I am doing a giveaway as a heads up here on the channel. Right now, there is one going on with my last Light No Fire video. But you'll notice that I do a lot of hearts on comments, because doing hearts on comments will add a little badge to your name. So be sure to be commenting on videos so that way I can heart those, because as we build up to 100,000 subscribers here on the channel, I'd like to be doing a big giveaway, something akin to maybe a PS5 or an Xbox Series X for $500, assuming if I can get my wife to approve it. I think that's fair. At 100,000, it just feels like such a milestone. But to be eligible, you need to have that heart badge by your name, so be sure to comment on videos just like this and other videos for future comment videos. Anyway, let's dive in, because I want to bring up Contorts, who says, from someone who watched and researched everything possible pre-release, bit of information for No Man's Sky, the hate train was out of effing control. Almost what made hate trains cool. This came from view farming parrots, people who knew almost nothing about the main goals and tech aside of these games. One man from a 12-man team with no PR training under the spotlight for the first time, as Sony breathed down his neck and made two comments that were incorrect for what would be available at launch. He didn't know how to communicate at the best of times and didn't know what to say, so he went back to work and did what he does best. Brilliant effort under what could be unimaginable pressure. This, I think, really is a great comment. This is a great viewpoint. It gives us the ability to continue to educate ourselves, because we forget things sometimes, but also the overall zeitgeist and discussion around these games is understanding that content creators, and I am a content creator, but I am also somebody who more considers themselves a gamer, because I go to work, I do this for fun. I don't have wild ambitions of being a full-time content creator. I'm using quotes, you can't see it around the mic, like that's going to pick it up and you're going to get that vibe. But until like I retire. When I'm retired, yeah, you might see me do more live streams. Yeah, we might have more videos that roll out on the channel, but this is just fun. I love talking video games with you guys, right? However, having been a gamer and somebody who consumes content online, you start to see these patterns and you start to see these trends. And the unfortunate truth behind that is that if you are not being recommended by the algorithm, you're forgotten. So it doesn't matter if you want positive attention or negative attention. The thing is you just need attention. And if you're not getting attention, your videos aren't going to be recommended. And that doesn't necessarily feel good. We put a lot of work into the videos here. I hope you guys enjoy them. But yeah, like it feels good when people watch the videos. That's fun. It feels good when people leave comments. That's awesome. It feels good when people like the videos. Like there's a real good feeling, and that feedback loop, I think, can be kind of addictive. And for people who try to make this their career, I see how it's kind of like a fight of survival. So I'm not like negatively judging them, but I see those patterns happening, and they do set the narrative. And that's one of the things that I've continued to try to push back on. And it's so entertaining to me, because I'll get so much hate because I refuse to follow along with the mob. And then ultimately that hate subsides as people come to the realization of the truth that has actually been dealt out before them. And I get a lot of apologies here, interestingly enough. So I do believe something like the concept of a gamer's hell has no fury like a gamer scorned. And when you break trust, it does take a lot to get back. But we live in a world with social media and incentives, even like on X and all these other platforms, where there's a financial benefit to hopping on that hate train. There's a financial benefit, and it could also be a positive train too. So it's like, generally speaking, our evolution as human beings has driven us to make sure that we prioritize negative information first, so that it's a survival mechanic versus like, oh, somebody did something, good, or, somebody did what they should have done. That's just ends up not being newsworthy. We just kind of move on with our lives, and it does take a concerted effort. And I think that's also a good opportunity in terms of content creation. And that's why I always want to encourage people who want to get into content creation to do so, and do so well, and speak truth. So that way, at least it's not just 100% zero, where the only conversation happening online is just hate and negativity. Like, to give that pushback, to give that representation. And sometimes you got to have a thick skin. So that's all I'm going to say there. Now, Dragon Blast says, Sean Murray and the rest of the team at Hello Games have been through Oblivion and back for No Man's Sky. If there was any team that I trust with something like this, it's them. Now, the question that will be hounding me till release: what to play for my first character? A bunny mage, a fox? I don't know, but I definitely a mage of some kind. And tip of the hat for putting in the secret keyword for that video into the comment itself. I love it, Dragon. It's like we still don't know enough in my mind to really truly be excited about like the classes in that regards. Are there classes, or is it kind of just more weapon based? Personally speaking, the more freedom that they can give me, the better. Like that, I want to be able to, like, hey, maybe I can wear heavy armor and carry a staff. Yes, there's a disadvantage, but for my play style, that it works, right? Especially because it does feel like it, when they talk about procedurally generated worlds, it does feel like there's going to be multiple, and I do wonder, and this is all speculation, but like, will it be something like Minecraft where we could spin up our own server and allow our friends in, aka also Valheim? Or is it going to be more like they host it, and or friends jump in and come play with you in a session, and if I log off, then you guys can't play on my world? Time will tell, but I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Now, Reservoir Voerg says, Hello Games earned my trust for sure. I will be picking up Light No Fire day one, as it looks like everything I want in a game. I want to be a bunny mage, a fox fighter, or a badger brute. I want it all. And Dr. John follows this up, says, I may play a bunny mage when it comes out. I personally always like to keep a balanced look at the current state of the game. If the game is not available when looking at the dev's history with games, will give me my perspective. It's why I never bought into the day before. The history was trash. Agreed. With that said, while I was seriously disappointed with the way No Man's Sky was launched, it's clear from its current state that they learned a lot, and if they remember their lessons from No Man's Sky, then the game is going to be fire, whether other people want to light it or not. So here's what's interesting, I guess, especially about these two comments, right? There's going to be, I think, a lot of people who agree. I think the vast majority of people, the quiet majority, are really excited about this, and they're going to be there for day one. So when I say that, if you're concerned, just don't play on day one. Like, just wait till reviews come out, wait till people have their say, and then jump in rather than get frustrated in it. The concern there is that if too many people do that, then the game isn't successful, and that causes problems. And if more people who waited rather than jumped in, well, then the narrative is like the game's not good, and that's not necessarily true. But I'm not actually worried about that scenario, because I think when you talk about this track record, it's that. The other thing to me that I get this vibe as a developer from is that I look at Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, and then we look at Baldur's Gate 3. Like, the team has had time, they've learned, the engines in themselves have improved, and the thing I really like about Light No Fire is they've got a 12-man team. That's a really important feature if you guys aren't aware. Like, game budgets and development cycles and stuff have ballooned out of control. And yeah, here's a 5-year, 12-man team. That's a tight vision. That's actually something you want to hear. It's not quote unquote indie, but at the same time, I think it's just a better way of building games. It's how a lot of the classics were built. The problem ends up being is that to make a modern classic like Elden Ring, for example, which I stream Elden Ring on Fridays. I've been doing my first playthrough. So if you guys like my content, check out my stream. Everywhere you can find it, all the links are in the description. I stream here on YouTube. So that small plug aside, yeah, I think what we're going to be looking at is a team who's learned. Does it mean that there's going to be a problem or two at launch? That's just the nature of video games. However, I know that this is a team that literally is going to stick with it and make it right. And that is what you want, especially in these long-running games, such as No Man's Sky, which I haven't played yet. I stepped into it, pre-Starfield for a day, so I'm thinking about adding some No Man's Sky streams as well. So if you guys want that, be sure to sound off in the comments or hit that like button, and I can see if I can find some time to do that as well. Our last comment. This is kind of the core thesis of the video, the title in and of itself, the problem in No Man's Sky. As Ano Samoral Cat says, the problem is that No Man's Sky irreparably damaged the reputation of Hello Games. They might be able to turn it around eventually, but their immediate follow-up to the disastrous launch of No Man's Sky is going to raise red flags, especially for the game that was developed with the tandem with No Man's Sky updates. Hello Games isn't the only one that suffers from this. Sega, Capcom, Square Enix, CD Projekt Red have all gone through some form of this already for even one mess up. And there's a truth to what they just said, but there's also a false equivalency as well. I see this a lot within gaming. It's like, oh, because EA did this one horrible thing or Activision did this one horrible thing, the studio over here is also as guilty. And it's like, you're kind of stretching that aspect. And irreparably, and as my stutter and dyslexia kicks in, my brain fails saying that word. No, I don't think so. I think when, we say hell hath no fury like a gamer scorn, a good game destroys all opposition. You can't, and it's actually, this is, it's a positive or negative. It's hard to have a critical discussion about a beloved game without like awakening the Kraken. It's like without essentially just bringing out so much frustration and animosity. So it's like if the writing's on the wall. Let's take the day before, for example. Let's say that game slaps, right? This is one of the inside baseball things that you'll see on YouTube that's annoying as hell. Is let's say that game wasn't a scam. It came out, it wasn't great, but all the way leading up to it, all the red flags are there. But you have the hype train, people who generally don't see it, don't follow along. They're just like, oh, that's the game I want, I'm going to get it. All that negativity there's no benefit, right? Like people aren't going to be excited about that negative video before the game came out if everybody was really excited for it. In their case, it was a complete scam, and we all knew that, so I don't think there was really any kind of issue. Everybody's just like, let's see what this train wreck is all about. But that shifts to the idea where I guess a better example would be World of Warcraft. When all of the information was coming out, World of Warcraft was in its lowest state. If you try to insult, and critique World of Warcraft, generally speaking, you had a lot of people defending the game. Like, oh, the game's good. Yeah, Blizzard, yeah, they got their issues, but the good game, right? Good game armor is kind of a key aspect here. Once that cracks, and then you see people kind of just, rushing and going for the throat, which brings back the first comment, talking about just the hate train in and of itself. People built up the game in their mind. Yeah, they probably were lying too, but like Sean Murray, I would say he was untrained in PR. There are certain things that can get quoted out of context, and then how do you step back from that? And whether you agree that was handled well or not, the proof is really in the pudding. So I do think actions speak louder than words. Actions are a metric for building up that trust, and No Man's Sky has actually, I think, enhances Light No Fire as opposed to being a detractor to it. And so anybody who's truly detracting from this game, anybody who's truly concerned about this game, like, they're not wrong. I'm not going to go and convince them otherwise. The game's going to do that for me. The game is going to release and people are going to see what it's like. And it's not that they did this, the same person did the same job. Like that highlights the continual ignorance of what game development is and how it operates. But that's okay, because not everybody needs to go sit and work in game development to enjoy games. But that understanding is, I think, a critical component that a lot of the negativity ends up missing and not understanding. And so that's what I hope to bring to you guys. context, especially as it relates to these videos. So guys, what do you think? Is Night No Fire going to be a problem for No Man's Sky? I don't think it is going to be for me. I think that's probably pretty apparent based off of how this game looks like it's going to be. One of those games that you'd never want to miss. And I'm sorry that I actually missed No Man's Sky. Like, a lot of the negativity, I was like, well, I'll check it out eventually. And the problem with that mindset in my world is eventually can end up being a long time from now. Like, for example, I've never played Minecraft. You know, there's a bunch of games where somebody was asking me like why I like Starfield, and I was like, they're like, oh, it just feels like Fallout. I was like, I didn't like, I never played Fallout. The theme of Fallout with the post-apocalyptic really isn't kind of like the thing that I go to. I like space. I like hope. I like, you know, the new frontier. Star Trek, you know, is a great series. I'm a big Star Trek fan. Me and my dad grew up. Well, he was my dad. He was already grown, but he would let me stay up when I was a kid and watch, you know, Next Generation with him at night during the summers, and it was great. And I have fond memories of that with him. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I thank you so much for being here. Hopefully I will see you in the next video. But until then, take care.